Hi, so there's just 17 days now to go to the end of support of Windows 10. It's coming up quick. And if you haven't got a plan for your business, if you've not got this done, this is seriously important because these machines are not going to get any more updates unless you pay for the extended updates or do something. They're going to get security vulnerabilities and they're eventually going to get hacked. It may take a few months for that to happen, but it's going to be a lot quicker than it was for Windows 7, Windows XP, whatever, Windows 95, because with AI, it's really, really trivial to hack into these systems. Now, so I want to look at Co-op's ransomware incident, which interestingly was nothing to do with technology, as far as we're aware, was caused by, and I don't know this for 100%, but we understand, I think, that it was caused by IT giving the hackers people's passwords. They reset their passwords. That's not very clever. So policies is a big part of IT and cyber. It's not just about shiny tools. So let's dig into some of the numbers here. So for Co-op, this is kind of what I want you guys to think about, is that they have a revenue loss of 206 million, which is about $3,500 per employee. So there's all these costs. So, but that obviously doesn't include all the other existential costs. So if you think about those, like all these various costs, we've got reputation damage, loss of customer trust, because bear in mind that Co-op lost all of their customers' usernames and passwords. So for those old people that have used those passwords in multiple places, which we know about 1% of people do, they're going to have all sorts of problems, especially if their bank accounts and Co-op have the same password. Damage to the brand. Everyone's familiar with this case in the UK. Legal, fines, reputation damage, regulatory fines, because of upgrading stuff, compensating customers, insurance litigation because their insurance will go up because they've had a hack. So there's a lot of stuff here, but this comes down to what I've said before for the small businesses, because this is only newsworthy because they're a big company, but this works out roughly to around £8,000 per employee, which is exactly the figure that I came up with for the SMEs. Interestingly, AI worked this out. I didn't do this, but it's pretty much the same number. So a ransomware attack, serious ransomware attack, could cost you £8,000 per employee. And bear in mind that a lot of their staff are only staff they've got 50,000 or something crazy. Most of those are like people stacking shelves, people pushing trolleys, using tills. These are not people that are using computers day in, day out. So in your business, you're going to be much more impacted. You could be down for weeks. And as I said, a lot of small businesses just do not survive, unfortunately, these kind of serious cyber incidents. This is a threat you need to understand, you need to take seriously in your business. So if we assume that with the 60,000-ish employees that Co-op have, again, this figures has come from AI, so this might be wrong, but you can see here how this breaks down to the financial costs. And then obviously, we don't know how much extra they've had to spend on consultants, etc., bringing extra support in to get things working again. But we do know quite clearly that it wasn't a very good financial investment. So let's have a think about how that impacts the business versus spending more on cyber. So I would say if you spend 40-ish pounds per person on cyber, that's enough for an SME to get most of the stuff done. Maybe a little bit more, but if you're at something, this is just like for the run of a mill business. Like if you're doing something where the data is extremely valuable to hackers or it's extremely risky, you might want to double or even triple that. So £480 a year per employee. So what that means is there's a 16 times return on investment. Essentially, you can have a ransomware attack every year for 16 years, and it would have been cheaper to pay for the tools. But the thing about it is that if you're bidding on projects, if you're trying to get stuff where you need to reach some compliance standards, you're going to have to do some of this work anyway. So it's a cost of doing business. And that brings me to my final point, is it worth this 16 times ROI, or are you better just not spending anything? And I think these numbers are quite interesting. So again, AI generated these numbers. So if Co-op had spent the money that I think they need to spend, and bear in mind, this is assuming that they're not spending a penny on cyber, and that's ridiculous. Obviously, they've got money they're spending already. So this is just kind of an example of how it might work for your small business. So had they spent £40 per user per month on cyber, that's £27 million a year. That's not small change, is it? The problem is that would have been more than their profit in the weaker years in the last few years. That's 17% of pre-tax profit. So this is a substantial investment in your business. So what I'm saying here, and I want this to be really clear, is £40 a month is about right to mitigate the risk, but it's a substantial cost for your business. This is not pocket change, but if you have a ransomware incident, you could lose the business. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not saying that people say to me, "Oh yeah, we take cyber seriously. We're investing in cyber. We think it's really important." But the cold reality is this is a substantial financial investment in the continuation of your business. If you don't make that investment, you could lose the business. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Do let me know what you think in the comments. I've tried to make this really balanced so you can get a good idea about where my thoughts are in terms of the return on investment, the financial reward and risk. And obviously nothing's set in stone. You spend 40 quid a month on cyber, you might still get hacked, but you're going to be like down the list for hackers because they're going to pick easy targets. And with AI coming in now, that's why I'm saying this Windows 10 updates are so important. Your chances of having a serious cyber incident are just going to rocket. And obviously, you need to be checking your suppliers as well. So I hope that helps. If you want to have a chat about this, mention stuff in the comments below. Reach out to me. Click on the Windows 10 link or click and book a call with me. I'm more than happy to have a chat through with you about this and how it might impact your business. And bear in mind that I generally work with businesses that have got 100, 200 staff, not 50, 60,000 staff. I can and I do sometimes, but the problem is, the fact is, it's the same problem. And you need to make, as a board, you need to sit down and make that judgment call. And if you don't have the right information, you make the wrong judgment call, you lose the business. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And let's try and be positive. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.